I'm going to talk about per diem. This is about me. That's fine. The three biggest per diem mistakes. I happen to really think per diem is a great thing because it's the one way the accounting guy gets to be the hero and help save the company money instead of the salespeople or the driver, the people that do the work. So it's always been important to me. So we want to save your company money, save your drivers money, keep your drivers around. Those are all worthwhile and profitable goals. A quick thing on per diem for clients of ours, you know what per diem is because we've told you about it a lot, but basically you can have the driver get reimbursed for meals and incidentals while they're on the road if they're over the road, and it becomes non-taxable to them, so they make more money and you don't pay payroll tax or workers comp on the per diem, so you save money. I have whole scores of webinars on our website at truckingpayroll.com/webinar archive. You can check them out there. If you don't know, or hit me up with a question about it, but I'm going to assume that most of you know about that because that's a whole webinar by itself. So we're going to talk about the biggest mistakes and what we can do not to make them. That's really what it comes down to. A lot of people pay per diem, but they don't optimize it. And so I think that people are leaving money on the table. Again, there's the IRS regs. If anybody can't sleep at night, look up the IRS revenue procedures. They'll put you out like a light. Oh, they're horrible. So, and then that refers to another one that refers to one before it. Yeah, again, you're 100 pages in. So yeah, the bonus, I was going to give you three things. The bonus one is not paying per diem at all. Like if you're not paying per diem to over the road drivers, you're losing out on a driver recruiting and retention opportunity because you're cutting their paycheck and you're losing out on money for yourselves, which is why we're here too. So let's not do that. Again, if you're doing that, talk to me about it later and we'll help you with that. So yeah, there it is. Not the biggest mistake that I see companies make where they're leaving money on the table is they're not paying per diem by the day. Per diem's Latin for per day. So the IRS allows you to pay $69 a day for meals and incidentals while your driver's on the road. If you're paying less than that, you're leaving money on the table because you're paying payroll tax and workers' comp insurance on money that is being called wage that doesn't have to be called wage. It could be considered per diem. Again, not subject to any of these things. When the work comp auditor does your audit, they're going to look at your 941. Per diem's not on there. So by not maximizing that, you're leaving money on the table. A couple of the reasons I hear about it is, well, some software that we use won't let us do it. They make us do it as a rate per mile, or somebody said we've got to do it as percentage, or we've got to do it as some other way of doing it. You can do that. It's legal. It's just not optimal. You're just leaving money on the table, and I don't want any of you guys to do that. And some of the people that pay per mile in particular, some of them get or percentage of pay. Some clients of ours use this. They do percentage of pay. Some of them get a little aggressive with their percentage. And as driver rates have gone up, that percentage number has become bigger, and they're actually out of compliance with the IRS. While I want to save y'all money, that's not the way to do it. I know we could all trade stories about DOT problems. Let me tell you, the Department of Revenue, no more fun than the DOT. So let's avoid that if we can. So yeah, you just want to avoid that. So the easiest way to do it is just do it by the day. We've also heard from people that use PEOs that say, well, our PEO requires us to do it this way. You're the customer, make them not do that. That's like the biggest thing, is just maximize this out, because otherwise you're just burning money. That was a fun little graphic I found. If you got the money to burn, awesome for you guys, but that would be great, wouldn't it? But the problem is that we don't have that. It's trucking. Just max that stuff out, pay it as a substitute for wage, and pay the full $69 a day. I did hear read from the IRS, it's not going to change for next year. It would have changed October 1st. That's the government new year for some reason. And it's not going to change, which surprised me with all the inflation things, and all the other IRS numbers are going up. Amounts for exemptions and amounts that you can put into your HSA and all that stuff is going up next year. Your 401k, all that stuff's going up, but the per diem is staying the same for reasons. If I could explain the government to anybody, right? That's bipartisan. It doesn't really matter which side. It's still equally as fun. The next biggest mistake that I see is we end up getting calls in our office. The driver gets their first paycheck and doesn't understand it. And so they call us because they know the email came from us, and they're like, hey, explain my paycheck to me. I'm like, all right. And we'll do it because our business is helping drivers. So we'll take the time and do it for them. But they were already upset when they called. And it would kind of go to what Jeremy was talking to about too. Like that becomes a retention issue. If they don't, no one likes surprises in their paychecks unless they're bonuses. So surprising them in their paycheck and they see, why did you take $345 out of my check? Well, we did that before tax and then we gave it back to you at the end. See that bottom line there where we added it back, right? And they're like, no, I didn't see that. All right, well, this is what we're doing. This is why we're doing it. And this is what your company wants to do. And, but they're already worked up and now we're just having to bring them back. And so it should be part of your orientation. It should be when you're bringing the driver on. I know you've got a million DOT forms you got to do. And yes, they're all horrible. And I get all that, but they're going to pay attention to the one of here's how we're paying you. That's an important piece for them. They're much like their, which truck they're going to get assigned and things like that. They're going to want to know this. And if you can get out in front of it and explain to them why you're doing it. Hey, we're doing this so that you get more money in your check. We're doing this so that you can have a better living. That helps. It's a little side note. If you can tell them that you're getting over on the government a little bit, they kind of like that too. Kind of a little anti-establishment vibe for them. You're on their side. It's you and me against the government. So that always helps too. But it's really about showing them. It's because we can all explain it theoretically, and I can say, well, we're going to treat it as reimbursement instead of as wage. That all sounds good, but it's not visual for people. So that's why I say to use visual aids. There's no way you're going to be able to see this, but I put it up there anyway. You'll get the slides. The main thing is this one has per diem. This one doesn't. This one is a net pay of $1,118.88. And this one is a net pay of $989.50 for the exact same loads, which are right here, and the same exemptions and all that stuff. So if you put those in front of your driver and you say, which check would you like? Would you like $1,118.88 or would you like $989.50? I hope your driver is going to pick the $1,118.88. If not, then, well, okay. But, that just shows them, hey, look, this is what we're doing for you. Here's a visual aid for it. Here's a sample check for what we pay people. If you need those, let us know. We'll email them to you, whether you're clients of ours or not. We're in our mission is to help trucking families. So that's not just help our customers. So just let us know. Just reach out to us and be like, hey, can you send me those 2 pay stubs I can send to somebody? We'll be like, sure. And we'll probably even put your company name on it for you. But that's just, which check do you want? And when you put it that way, the driver sees it, understands it, and goes, okay, these guys are on my side. They want to help me get as much money as I can. And they're giving me this to get me an extra, $120 a week, $130 a week. It's a lot of money. I don't know when the last time any of you guys got $130 a week in your check raise. It's a lot of money. So it's $6,500 a year, I think, at the back of the napkin math. So this really will drive it home for them. Here's the third mistake that I see. Because we all know that per diem's better for the company. We want to force it on the driver and say, you're going to get paid per diem. Hard to believe for you guys, but drivers sometimes tell stories to each other and they're at the truck stop or at former places of employment. And sometimes those stories are even true, but not always. And so we heard about this guy who got screwed on his per diem. He did this and that, whatever, some horrible story about how his company mistreated him. So you got those. You got the things I listed up here too. Harder to get a loan because your income shows to be less on your W-2. It does lower your Social Security. That is absolutely true. And them not trusting it, as we all know, drivers are not the most naturally trusting people as a demographic in the United States. So that's all true, but there's counter arguments to these things, and I would encourage you to make them. For example, Social Security, yes, it's going to be lower, but if you invest that $130 a week, you're going to be way better off than what Social Security is going to do for you. We all know Social Security is not, as investments go, it's not really a portfolio thing you want to stake everything into. So, you got that. And then for loan things, a lot of times you can explain it away. We've had clients ask us, somebody's trying to get a mortgage and we do explain the per diem to them. And we've done that, and the underwriters have generally accepted it as far as we know. They don't get us much involved after that. But those are small prices to pay. Again, that $130 a week, you put that away, you won't need the loan. You'll have the money to buy it. Them not trusting you, that's the tricky one. They're going to have to learn to trust you over time. They probably have some bad experiences, and they'll need to see that that's not from you guys, and that you're the trucking company who does what they say they're going to do, as opposed to all of the stories on stories on stories on stories they have of how their previous employers had screwed them over time after time after time, forever. So, but my thing is, if the driver is insistent that they don't want per diem, and you took a swing at convincing them that you're right, and they still say nope, 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 just don't pay them per diem. Just be like, fine, you want the $989.50 instead of the $1118.88. We're good. Like, it's fine. Yeah, we're going to pay a little more in employment tax, which you don't even have to tell them that, but it's not worth losing the driver over. There's no winning in that for you. So just keep, per diem should be I would recommend that per diem's your policy. I recommend that it's $69 a day. At the same time, I would never force it on anybody, because people like Jeremy have jobs because drivers are hard to find. Good drivers especially are hard to find. So let's not make it even harder by disqualifying drivers by making them mad at us for a few bucks a week. It's just not worth it, especially for the good ones. Yeah, right, that's really it. And I'm blowing through this quickly on purpose, because I know a lot of my clients know about per diem and things like that. And we've also, it's been a long day. We're all used to doing things. We're used to being on the phone, and we're used to doing, and so I want to move through this quickly. But out of our clients, probably less than half pay per diem properly. By what I say, best practices. And they're leaving money on the table, or they're out of compliance with the IRS, and there's really no other option to it. So I would encourage all of you to pay per diem, $69 a day. Pay it to all your drivers that are agreeable to it. And then the ones that don't, I would just let them not have it, and tell them, hey, we're here for you. So, I already had. Oh yeah, that's the other. I was told I had to put more pictures in my presentation. So that's the driver walking away from your company because you told him you had to have per diem. So that's really it for mine.